Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it's the last day of my 4-day weekend. We got a nice little rainstorm yesterday, so it's really muddy outside, so it's probably not a good day to be out doing anything in the yard. It's also a little cold out there. We did some cooking yesterday, so it doesn't make sense to do a lot of that. And I decided I kind of wanted to go and just go look at something that maybe was inside that'd be kind of fun to look at. And so I was looking around the internet and I found there's kind of a cool railroad and heritage museum in Temple, Texas, about 30 miles from here. And I thought, you know what, that'd be kind of fun to do. And then maybe we'll hit Buc-ee's on the way back. So let's go to Temple, Texas. All right, this is our destination. I was actually kind of surprised when I was looking at this on Google Maps. This whole area was sort of under construction and this was all just kind of a dirty field right here. So looks like they've finished up their construction in the last couple years since when the pictures were last scanned by Google. So let's go in and take a look. Now my understanding is that this used to actually be an actual train station, and they kind of retrofitted it into a museum. And as you can see, there's still trains out there, and actually there's a train passing by right now behind that one that we can see. So I don't know, this should be kind of fun. Looking forward to this. Even the banners have a Texas drawl. This is another one of the things I like about Texas. They got these markers all over the place. This one's about a guy named Bernard Moore Temple. He was born near Fredericksburg, Virginia. Bernard Moore Temple was a noted railroad engineer. In 1862, he enlisted in the Virginia Artillery, joining the Confederate Army, where he acquired engineering experience in artillery and ordnance. Temple made use of his skills when he moved to Kansas to work as a railroad engineer in 1868. During the next 4 years, he worked in 3 railroad companies, building lines in Kansas and Nebraska, while apprenticing under master railroad builders, including the noted engineer and aviation pioneer Octave Chanute. In 1872, Temple joined the Texas and Pacific Railroad. He worked in Texas under another leading figure in railroads, Greenville M. Dodge. In 1875, Temple moved to Galveston, where he married Ida Mae Shipman, to whom he reared 2 children. The Gulf, Colorado, and Santa Fe Railroad hired him as a surveyor. In 1877, he became the de facto chief engineer. The company rapidly laid tracks, reaching Bell County on the way to Santa Fe, New Mexico by 1880. The railroad decided to branch off a northward line to Fort Worth from a town named in honor of Temple. I guess that's where this town came from, his name for this guy. Lots were sold in the new settlement beginning in 1881. In 1884, Temple left the company, though he continued to work on projects in Texas under railroad magnate Collins B. Huntington, who later employed him. Temple developed and built a noted Pecos High Bridge across the Pecos River. Afterwards, he retired to Galveston, where he built jetties and served as city engineer, 1895 to 1897, and as waterworks superintendent, 1899 to 1901. Temple had the water system up within 3 weeks after a storm of 1900. He died in 1901. Today he's remembered as a leading figure in railroad and engineering work throughout Texas. There you go, everything you wanted to know about how the city of Temple got its name. All right, we're in. Yeah, this is just kind of a fun little wall decoration here before I even get into the main museum. Just going to kind of try and show all the fun stuff around here. This looks like it might be a cool place. They got some great trains outside, so I'm looking forward to seeing that too. Let's go. Or should I say, all aboard? So here's kind of an old hand car. This was what the rail workers would use to maneuver around the tracks to do work and maintenance on the tracks. Apparently this one wasn't used in this area. This was used in Missouri, but is very similar to the ones used everywhere else. Seen those in all those old westerns where they used these to move around on the tracks. So here's some official uniforms from, looks like, the 1890s, I guess. Apparently these red caps are still in use today. They're kind of used by the porters, and their job is to kind of move luggage and stuff like that around. And then it looks like over here we have a conductor's hat and uniform. That's kind of neat, huh? Well, there's a vintage wheelchair for you, huh? Don't make them like that anymore. And here's some of the tools that were used by the engineers to fabricate the different parts of the trains and the tracks. Yeah, they used blacksmiths in the railroad. There's like an old ancient forge, bellows. I'm guessing that's probably some sort of an air pump that you crank the handle there and it pumps air into there to heat everything up. Old welding tank. Lots of fun stuff here. I believe these are used to like move the individual track pieces. Look at the size of that wrench. That wrench is like 3 feet long. And this section seems to focus on the railroad's use of moving equipment around during the war. Tanks don't fight in factories. Keep them rolling. The railroads are the first line of defense. And the troops too. It isn't just the equipment. That's a troop sleeping car from 1944. Apparently the government ordered about 2,400 of these. Yep, they had them packed in there like sardines. That's kind of cool. This is a old beam scale they used to use to weigh cotton that was shipped. So you hang your cotton on the hook here, and then just like the scales you see in the doctor's office, you move the weight along here, and when everything balanced out, you knew what your weight was. Very cool. And here's some kind of amusing advertisements for the Santa Fe Railroad. It says for shipping fruits or flutes or 2 pantsuits. For shipping oils or coils or aluminum foils. For shipping wheels or steels or fishing reels. Yeah, it just goes on and on. So this little section here is called Life on the Caboose. And this is what they call a rack for fuses and track torpedoes. Back before they had radios, if the train had to stop on the track for some reason, they'd either use fuses or small bits of dynamite that would actually be attached to the track. And when another train would run over, it would make a loud noise so they could, so the conductor would know something was up. And then the fuses were colored flares that burned for different amounts of time to communicate with other trains that something was going on here. That was all kind of made obsolete when they got two-way radio communication, but before that, that's how you did that, in case you ever wondered. In fact, there's one in use right there. So we can get that to focus for us here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, here's some of the stuff from the caboose. Potbelly stove for cooking food. You know, this is basically all the stuff necessary to support the crew during the voyage. Including the conductor's office. Everything you need. This is an ad out of a Sears and Roebuck catalog for a prefabricated house called the Alhambra. Look at that price. Apparently, once freight traffics began going, the two companies, Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Ward, started offering stuff through catalogs that you could buy and be shipped to you. This is some of the stuff that you could buy. It's kind of the equivalent of Amazon now, right? Bicycle for $23. Couple different varieties of organs. Look at those prices though. That was a lot of money back then. Oh, check this out. This is a headlight from a locomotive in the 1840s. Yeah, just a big mirror inside there. Bet you that threw a lot of light. Oh, and this is a signal light to let the trains know when it was safe to pass. This one's called a dwarf signal. This is a train control system. This is how they switch to different tracks. As the technology evolved. Now it's all done digitally. Yep, there's the real thing. Currently they have some exhibits here that are interactive, but they're not allowing you to touch stuff right now because of the virus. Apparently you can touch that though. Morse code system here. I don't think I need to tell you what this is. It's funny, I'm getting conflicting signals here. This one says go ahead and ring the bell, but this one says please don't touch the exhibit, so I think I'm going to err on the side of caution here. Okay, this is cool. They have different color lights to signal different things. Red means stop, green means go. Yellow means proceed at a restricted speed, and the blue one is workmen are in or under or about the engine. This is kind of at work. I've been learning about the lockout tagout system. This seems to be the railroad's version of lockout tagout, and is that the only person that can remove the lantern is the person that put it there. So that's kind of interesting. Doesn't say what the white one is. Maybe the white one's just for light. Oh, this is kind of interesting. These are what they call rail maintenance date nails. So I guess they pounded these into the rails to let the people know when the rails were installed, or at least last maintained. That's kind of a good idea. Okay, and then these are called train order hoops. Basically what they do is they'd hold it up next to the train while it was passing by, and they'd put like notes and stuff on it, and the crew could grab it as they drove by and pick up their new orders as they went along without having to stop the train. That's kind of fun, huh? And this is more of the Morse code system here. I suspect when they don't have this stuff isolated for health issues, you could probably tap on that and the signal comes out over here so you can kind of hear it. This is an old telephone switchboard, circa 1940s. That's kind of cool, an old railroad time clock, circa 1910. And a map showing all of the Santa Fe rail system rail cars. Look at all the stuff going through Texas. And some of the safety stuff used here, safety signs and lights and hard hats. Focusing on trying to keep accidents and injuries down with a boogeyman called Accident. Accident is acting up again. Let's mow him down. Another bell from a train. And an old whistle from a diesel train from the 1940s. Now this little room here I guess is isolated. They're doing some work right now on it, so I can't get in there, so I'm just going to have to look at it through the window. But check out this train set here. Very cool. Yeah, apparently they're expanding it a little bit. That's cool. We'll have to come back and look at that at some point. All right, now we're outside the original station, and there's a whole bunch of train cars here. It looks like some of them we can get up and look in, so let's kind of just go down the line and take a look at these to see what we got. Big, massive freight car here. I don't know if we'll be able to get inside that one. That one looks like it's locked shut, but we'll take a look. Of course, the real thing. Apparently they won't let us into that one, but we could walk up and look at it. So let's pop up in there and peek through the windows. This looks like this is a caboose. Gonna walk around the outside of it a little bit here, and then we'll peek through the windows. Getting the full experience of being near an active rail line here. Not much in there, it looks like. In case you ever wondered what the inside of a caboose looks like, now you know. So some of the rail here, you can take a look at that. Some of the wheels. Yeah, those are pretty big wheels there, aren't they? Probably don't get the idea from the picture, but that's probably 3 feet across. That one seems to be a little bit smaller, different style. Oh, and this looks like this is a switch track here. Kind of gives you an idea how it works here. I don't know, I wonder if it's active here, if you can do anything with it. No, it doesn't feel like you can do much with it. But basically you crank the handle there and it just kind of shifts the rail over here. That's how you go from one track to another. So it looks like sometimes they have these little hand carts that you can ride around the tracks here, and they actually have the kind of low scale, small scale railroad here. And this is actually, you can actually see how the switch card works. This one actually does operate. You can pull the handle and switch back and forth here. So that's how they either go all the way around. It looks like it goes all the way over there and then comes back, and then you can go on to the different switch tracks, which is kind of neat. Doesn't look like that's open today. It's probably one of those things that they only open on certain times, probably on the busy days or something like that. And today isn't one of the busy days. I think the only people I saw in there were workers. Got a little place here for the kiddies to play if you want. But anyway, let's go back and look at the trains. That's what we're here for, right? We all know what playgrounds look like. Oh, this one here is an old diesel engine. I don't think I can even reach the window on that one, so I can't even give you a peek inside, but kind of looks like someone tried to break into that one. Like I said, can't tell. Some of them you're allowed to kind of climb on. At least they don't say you can't. Others do. So I'm going to kind of try and obey the rules whenever possible here. One of the unwritten rules of vlogging. Here's some passenger cars, and they don't say I can't go up this, so. Once again, not sure if I'm going to be able to see much through these windows are in pretty bad shape. No, can't really see anything at all in there. And it's locked, so they clearly don't want us in there. Sounds like they're winding that one up to get going here. Although I could be wrong. See through the windows a little bit. It looks kind of rough in there. Oh, this one's a troop car here. Remember we saw those pictures inside of the troops sleeping? Yeah, this would have been one of the cars they were in. And I believe this is the coal car. Yeah, they got stairs on this one. Let's go take a look. See what we can see. Oh man, check this out. Controls for the boiler. And that's where you'd put the coal right there. And then they get the coal from in here. I can't even see if I'm kind of holding the camera up, so you're seeing things I can't even see. Oh yeah, where the engineer sat. All the comforts of home, right? Wow. It's just one of those angles you don't get to see very often, right? Alright, actually, it looks like maybe there is a benefit if you actually walk in front of it instead of walking behind it like we did, because this apparently is supposed to be the side you're supposed to look at it at. So this was a Baldwin, built by Baldwin Locomotive Works in 1921 for the Santa Fe Railroad. Engine length 48 feet 4 inches. Height of tender 34 feet 8 inches, 38 feet 8 inches. Height of engine 15 feet 8 inches. 319,000 pounds. Okay, I guess the tender, that must be this thing. Empty weighs 126,000, full it weighs 300,000. Diameter of cylinders 25 inches. Stroke length 28 inches. Diameter of drivers 79 inches. Fuel capacity 5,000 gallons. Tender water capacity 15,000 gallons. Fuel, bunker C fuel oil. So it isn't a coal car then. I guess it actually runs on an oil. Interesting. Yes, yeah, I ought to read before I try and talk about what I'm looking at, because I don't really know what I'm looking at here until I read about it. Boiler pressure 220 psi. That's cool. This thing's 100 years old. Let's get out in front of this. Holy cow, look at these wheels. These are massive. Look, I'm 6 foot 4 inches tall. And these wheels are bigger than I am. That's amazing, right? I also saw that there was a sign and a little walkway up to that troop car that we looked at on the other side. So let's walk over there and check that out too. Another pass by on this thing. This thing is massive. With train cars like that, you really get the idea why they tell you don't drive your car around the railroad tracks, because they can't, or around the crossing gates, because they can't slow down very well. Yeah, it doesn't look like we get to go in this one either. There's nothing to look at in there, but this is the other side of the troop carrier that we were looking at a minute ago. I'd go up the stairs, but it doesn't look like there's really any benefit that I'm not gonna, doesn't look like I'm gonna see anything more up there than I'm seeing down here. It's just locked up. And you can see in there a little bit. Can pop the camera in here a little bit, I think. Let me see. Get you a view nobody else gets to see very often. Yeah, it looks like you're just looking at a door and another door. More of these passenger cars. Well, now you got to see these from both sides. Yeah, here's another Santa Fe engine car here. Actually, I'm kind of seeing more of the inside of this from this angle here. Interesting, that one doesn't actually say don't climb on this, so I'm gonna climb on that. Get a view inside here. Yeah, not as much to look at in this one as there was in that other old boiler. So this is another train that looks like somebody's attempted to break into. All the windows are boarded up here. Except for this one, which I'm guessing will be boarded up at some point. Let's see if I can make it a little easier to see what's in there. Yeah, a little bit. It's a shame that people can't just leave things like this alone and enjoy them. Looks like that door's open just a little bit, but they got it chained shut, so I'm not going to go try and force that. So I gotta admit, I wasn't really sure what to expect when I came here, but I'm actually kind of glad I did. There's a lot of fun stuff to see out here, and I don't know about you, but I actually learned a few things. So anyway, I think that is all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night. So I hit the gift shop on the way out. Turns out all the logo stuff that they have was 75% off. So I got this hat for $4. Not bad, huh?